You are quite in time for yet another episode of Daring Abroad, the only show of its kind in the entire world. A show that takes you around the world without a visa, literally speaking. And today we begin from Kisii County to Dakota University in the US. We will be tracing the journey of Victoria Kwamboka, who is proceeding for further studies there. And on our back home segment, Fahari Aviation's drone operation and training services and how the diaspora can benefit from these services. But first, here is a preview of the show.
It's mixed feelings, but majorly excited.
It's a journey that has been years in the making. Yes, Daring Abroad follows Victoria Kwamboka from Kisii to the US for further studies, courtesy of the Kenya Airlift program.
As we all know, the US is the land of opportunities.
It's our joy seeing these young people lives get transformed.
On our back home segment, the amazing uses of drones in many fields as Fahari Aviation ups its game in drone operations and training.
We offer trainings in photography, mapping, surveillance, infrastructure inspections.
Great. Straight into the first segment of our show with Michael Zimanji, who is tracing the journey of Victoria Kwamboka, who is proceeding to the US for further studies under the Kenya Airlift program.
If you had told 24-year-old Victoria Kwamboka that she would only be days away from starting a new life abroad, she would have laughed it off. But as she enjoys a cup of tea with her family at their home in Suneka, Kisii County, this is her reality. Yes, Victoria is about to leave the country for the US in pursuit of further studies, a lifelong dream of hers.
Watching stories of students who have gone to do their graduate studies abroad and seeing what they have had to achieve after that and their impact back home, that motivated me much to explore that route. I'll be heading to South Dakota State University to pursue a Master of Science in Statistics beginning this fall.
It is clear that the 24-year-old is nervous despite her best efforts to hide it.
It's mixed feelings, but majorly excited. Yeah, because heading to a completely new country with very extreme weather, different currency, no family members.
Born and raised in Keroka, Kisii, Victoria had always been passionate about studies, acing her exams all through primary, secondary and university.
I did Bachelor of Science in Applied Statistics from Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology. I graduated 2020, with the first class honors.
Hers was not the easiest of upbringings, but despite her background, Victoria's desire was always to pursue knowledge no matter the challenge.
I would have studied here of course after I finished my undergraduate, but the cost was a bit high for me, so I opted to work for a few months or say years so that I can save up and then explore the opportunities available.
And it was during this time that the idea of venturing beyond borders for studies presented itself.
I came across the UK graduate opportunities, the Commonwealth, Chevening and others. So I of course tried to apply. They are very competitive, so I didn't manage to get any of those.
This did not deter her, and fortunately, Victoria found her saving grace in the form of the Kenya Airlift program, a partnership between Florida-based IT consultant Bob Mwiti and MCA for Abogeta West Ward in Meru, Dennis Kyogora, that assists students pursue further studies in the US.
The academic qualifications required by the program were a bit favorable to me, so I decided to try it out. So I joined the program in December last year. I paid the required amount, prepared for the GMAT, and then, yes, the journey has been quite smooth up to now. So the Kenya Airlift program requires one to have at least a B plane in their KCSE and a B plane in maths or physics. With that, you also need to have a GPA of at least 3.0 for you to join the regular program. The GPA in full is grade point average, so there is a formula used to calculate that, but mostly students with a second upper and a first class fall in that category of a GPA of 3.0 and above. But a few strong second lowers are in that category too. So they have another option called the parallel option for those students who didn't meet the criteria. So for the parallel option, one needs to have at least a C+ in KCSE.
Since 2018, the Kenya Airlift program has been actively sending our best and brightest to the United States. Their biggest advantage being their financial partners like Empower Financing, who provide students with education loans that enable them pursue their dreams.
All of the Kenyan students who study in the US, they expand their horizons, they deepen their skills and knowledge, suddenly their worlds are expanded, and therefore the impact they can make can be absolutely instrumental anywhere in the world they decide to live.
When we started this whole initiative, our vision was to have a program that is self-sustaining in terms of talent, so that we don't really have to go out there and look for talent, because we actually have it in the program. You know, right now we have over 1,000 students who are currently in the program, and these are guys who have talent. These are people who need jobs, you know, and we want the program to be a program that is actually giving these student jobs, and that's really why most of our staff is actually students who are already in the program. For example, GMAT trainers, those guys who do on their onboarding.
Through the program, students are assisted in securing enrollment, coached on how to pass the Graduate Management Admission Test, a requirement for one to be admitted to undertake management and business courses in the US, and prepped on what to expect during the US visa interviews. But it is not all study. Each year, the students are treated to a 5-star luncheon that serve as a platform for them to interact with each other, building a strong support system for when they eventually dare abroad. Currently, the program has over 1,500 members, with 110 already in the US. This is possible through numerous partnerships the program has with learning institutions abroad, the latest being Indiana University of Pennsylvania and Missouri State University, that give aspiring students access to scholarships.
We have partnered with so many universities in the US already, official partnerships. And we have partnered with Empower, and they are now coming, and we are getting to know each other more, and we are now telling them which universities we want to see them. Especially universities where students prefer going, and they are not there. So we like these guys to pick up these schools to their platform so that our students can benefit from the Empower loans.
The program also partners with Kenyan-based institutions and companies with hopes of one day extending their reach to include the Kenyan government. This is what led Victoria to this moment, an unbelievable but proud moment for the family, given that Victoria is not only the first beneficiary from Kisii to go abroad through the program, but also one of the first to go on full scholarship.
Bila napojihisi nakuwa mtu ambaye hana ya, tulikuwa tunatafuta vitu kwa njia ngumu kumpatia, kumsomeza, na sisi tumefurahia amesoma njia nzuri. Niliambia Mungu asante kwa kumpatia njia kwenda Amerika kwenda kusoma.
Unajua mtu akikwambia nataka kwenda ngambo na muuliza unaenda kufanya nini? Kwenda ngambo ni kumaanisha mtu muona. So but that anasema anaenda kusoma atarudi. So we were okay. Especially US. Tumekuwa tukidream mtu aende US. Kipata mtu anasema anaenda Amerika. Hiyo ni sawa.
We want to come before you with gratitude and commit our sister Victoria to...
As per custom, words of wisdom and prayers were shared. And what followed was the start of the journey, from Kisii to Kaplong, Bomet to Narok, and finally Mai Mahiu, before arriving in Nairobi, where Victoria will stay for the next 4 days as she awaits boarding her flight to the US. Fast forward to D-Day, Wednesday, 10th August 2022. Victoria and her loved ones make their way to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Her flight is scheduled to leave at 9 a.m. local time. There is a lot of mixed emotions. As Victoria says her final goodbyes, this is the hope she carries with her to South Dakota State University.
As we all know, the US is the land of opportunities, so I would rather endure the harsh weather, but in the end, get into the corporate world in America, and then at the same time impacting big back home.
Hers was a 40-hour trip with a 17-hour layover in Amsterdam, Netherlands, before eventually landing in the US, ready to face her new life head-on. The alumna of AIC Philemon Chelagat Girls is more than grateful to the founders of the Kenya Airlift program for this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I'd like to pass my gratitude to Bob Mwiti, DMK. They're making my dream and other people's dreams come true. I know they might not be able to take everyone to the US, but at least if they impact, say, a person from a community, then they have impacted the whole community.
Victoria is clearly living her American dream, and from her experience, her advice to aspiring scholars is, don't be afraid to take the leap.
First of all, one needs to be very disciplined and keep your eyes on the goal. I mean, if it's what you want, nothing should stop you really. Yeah, so keep your eyes on the goal, go for what you want, take the necessary risks, weigh the leverages that you have, do it, because at the end, it pays well.
We at Chams Media wish her the best as she shoots for the stars.
Congratulations, Victoria Kwamboka, and thank you so much, Michael Simanji, for that report. We now take a short break. When we return,
We offer trainings in photography, mapping, surveillance, infrastructure inspections.
Fahari Aviation's drone operations and training services, and how the diaspora community can benefit from those services.
Home Aid Training Center is a Washington-based organization providing high-quality and standard education and training to healthcare workers since 2017. Along with other entities owned by a managing director, Professor Stephen Jenga, other services we provide include smart custom and print services, notary services, cooperative bank diaspora account opening, student placement program, book publishing, company registration, and the Western Union agent. For details, call us on +1 206 566 4676 or +253 893 9768, or visit us at 1305 South 312th Street, Unit 202 Federal Way, Washington 98003, located behind H-Mart.
Welcome back. Time now for our back home segment, and today we are featuring Fahari Aviation's drone operations and training services and how Kenya's diaspora community can benefit from these services. Unmanned aerial vehicles, commonly known as drones, are now trendy in various fields, including videography and photography. They are also used in conservation, infrastructure, public safety, surveillance, and aerial mapping. Also in inspection, emergency, rescue services, as well as in agriculture. Fahari Aviation, a subsidiary of Kenya Airways, offers customized end-to-end solutions in these fields and supports not only operations but also training. In agriculture, the operator has made great strides in helping businesses to apply this technology to enhance efficiency among other benefits. The operator is using drones to spray fertilizers and pesticides, for example.
So beyond spraying and spreading, we're also offering solutions in crop health surveillance. So what crop health surveillance actually does is that you're able to acquire images. And the good thing about drone images is they come geo-referenced. So you're able to patch them up, you're able to see how your field is performing. If you're a large-scale farmer, you can tell what parts of your field are struggling, and that's where now we are bringing in the precision agriculture solution. So you're able to get input exactly where it's required in the quantities that it's required. We are currently involved with tea farmers, one of them being Kipkebe Limited, part of the Sassini Group. We are helping them spread fertilizer in this rainy season.
Using drones in agriculture can help decrease time, labor, and resources.
There's so many advantages that come with it. First is, of course, efficiencies in terms of cost. So you're looking at reduction. Instead of you just spreading fertilizer across the whole farm, you're able to attack areas or inject that fertilizer where it is required. So there are cost efficiencies brought by that. Additionally, there are also yield improvements that come with this. Your yield per acre or yield per hectare is improved. What we've seen also from the farmers that we've spoken to, it also helps fight theft of inputs. We've seen instances where farms, especially big farmers, are losing fertilizer and all that. Fertilizer has become a hot topic from a cost perspective, and there are instances where farmers have expressed that they are losing the input that's given up to the workers. So that also helps from that security aspect. So from those cost efficiencies themselves, not just looking at mechanizing agriculture, we're also looking at stopping the theft of farm inputs.
Fahari Aviation is among the institutions that have been approved by the regulator, that is Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, to provide drone operations and training services in Kenya. It started operations in July 2021 and had trained over 50 students as at November 2022.
We are now able to train the entire suite all the way to instructor level. So the most basic training is remote pilot license. You can either select to do multi-rotor or fixed wing. Beyond that, we also offer trainings in specialized areas such as photography, mapping, surveillance, infrastructure inspections. This is because all these require different set of skills in terms of flying competency of the pilot and the maneuvers that are required to be made during all these tasks.
Training is important as part of enforcing professional use of drones. According to civil aviation regulations, a drone cannot be imported into the country without approval. An organization owning a drone and intending to use it must have what is known as Remote Operating Certificate, ROC. A drone operator or pilot must be licensed too upon training. For those who have been trained outside Kenya and want to operate in Kenya, they will have to take some training in order to convert their foreign licenses into Kenyan licenses.
Currently, we're the only licensed center to convert foreign acquired licenses from ICAO contracting states to convert them to Kenyan licenses. Licenses are issued by state agencies, and state agencies prescribe to local law. So, for example, if I go train in the UK and get a license, a UKCAA issued license. UKCAA is the United Kingdom Civil Aviation Authority. For me to practice and operate in Kenya, I'd need that license recognized by the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. For that to happen, entities such as ourselves and the KCAA do issue guidelines on how you can convert your foreign acquired license to a locally recognized Kenyan license. Training is very short. What we have is a 3-day training and, of course, an exam for that. In the training setup, we also operate a drone club. What the drone club does, it brings together enthusiasts, hobbyists, and professionals in the drone space that allows them to practice and participate in club activities.
Let's now go to the field for some practical lessons, and we join Michael Lengare, Fahari Aviation's chief instructor, who begins by explaining to us the various types of drones.
Karibu Alex.
Asante Michael.
Welcome to our training facility here.
I've never seen such a huge drone.
Yes, so this
is a drone.
Yes, this is a drone. These are all drones you can see here.
Wow.
So This is the Agras T30. It's an agricultural drone. So we used in agricultural applications, mostly for spraying. As you can see, it has a really huge tank.
Wow.
It's among the largest drones we have in our fleet. It can do 40 acres in an hour spraying.
Okay.
You can imagine.
To touch.
Yes, you're allowed to touch. Welcome, karibu sana. You can see how big it is.
Wow.
So this is our VTOL. It's called vertical takeoff for landing. So it typically looks like a normal aircraft, but the only difference now, because of these 4 additional rotors you see on the side, it's able to take off similar.
How heavy is it?
It's not so heavy, you can see. And you'll discover all of this is just made of styrofoam. But you see the applicability of how it works.
Yes.
It's just common material, but in this case, it's able to take off vertically and then transition to a normal aircraft. So this reduces, you don't necessarily need a runway to operate with this one. So you find this is mostly used for where you need high endurance or long flight times. So especially in areas like conservation, security, surveillance, mapping of large pieces of land, you're able to do this in one battery or one sweep. You're able to cover a large. How far can it go? In terms of range, can do about 150 kilometers range. Yes, and now that in terms of height, altitude will go up to about 15,000 feet above sea level. So here we are about 6,000. So we have about 11,000 feet that this can still cover. But currently in Kenya, we are allowed to fly up to 400 feet. However, with the necessary permissions and safety, you're able to get approval to do higher altitudes.
And this one?
So coming to this is another multi-rotor. It's similar to that. The only difference you find, this has 4, while the T30 has 6. So the only difference, that can carry way more. But this applicability, this you'll find at the bottom, what you see here. This is what we refer to as a payload. Okay. So currently it's fixed with a LiDAR, a LiDAR payload. However, this can be changed. You can change. So we currently have a payload that even thermal cameras, normal daytime vision cameras, RGB cameras, as well as LiDAR for multiple applications. Even when mapping a steep slope of land, with this you're able to even account for that gradient, not just coming out as a flat piece of land.
Quite a big variety of drones.
Yes.
And for us, we are used to like that one for filming.
Yes. So this, I think, is the most common drone in Kenya. Even when we talk about drones, that's the first thing that comes to people's mind. So here at Fahari, we use that mostly for training. However, it does have a very nice camera. So even for filming and photography, it does serve the purpose. But for training our students, we believe it's among one of the best training drones we have in the market.
According to Michael, Fahari Aviation's training meets the demands of an emerging and fast-growing technology.
Currently, our target market is people who are looking to use drones either to further or make their work more efficient, or to use drones in a way either to further their career as a new career venture. Somebody who's looking at drones as a way of how can drones help me either in agriculture, in security, make my work easier. Those are the people we are targeting to train, as well as also hobbyists who are looking to use drones both safely, legally, and securely.
The wider goal is to promote public acceptance of this technology in the community.
We were able to participate in the National Wildlife Census, that is in the conservation bit. This was held in Savo West, and we were able to contribute to that data set that was accomplished during that particular mission. So also we've been able to conduct some infrastructure inspections in collaboration with Kengen. This was held at Olkaria, where we were able to inspect the power plants at that location, demonstrate the capability of the various equipment that we had on that day.
The institution stands out because of its world-class training facilities, trained instructors, extensively developed training manuals and curriculum, and a thorough site operations setup.
We are getting a lot of international interest, especially from this particular region. We are currently processing a client, that's a corporate client from South Sudan. We are looking at other corporate clients from Botswana and Malawi, and we have individuals from these countries that come and train in Kenya. You'll note that Kenya, in the unmanned aircraft space, we've set up the framework, the legal framework that allows civilian operation. And that gives advantage, because that's when civil players and operators are able to acquire accreditation to operate drones and conduct a drone business. So that helps us as Fahari Aviation. We're getting a lot of recognition. As our neighbors ramp up their structure from a legal perspective, we fill in the gap for the time being. To the Kenyans out there in the diaspora, kindly look out for Fahari Aviation products and services. When you're abroad and when you're in country, we do offer training solutions, and part of our enterprise solution beyond agriculture, we do offer infrastructure inspections, we do offer mapping. Mapping services are very important, and we also do offer security surveillance.
At Chams Media, we are glad that our very own Eric Maweu is now a certified drone operator thanks to the training he got from Fahari Aviation.
Some of the new things I've learned is navigation, flight planning, and how to read weather before you fly. And also, one of the things that I've come to learn is good to assess risk before you fly. The things I've gained from Fahari Aviation is, one, I've gained confidence, and number two, I now understand the regulation pertaining operating a drone in Kenya.
Fahari Aviation aims not only to lead in unmanned aircraft systems training in Africa, but also in providing business solutions, and it intends to venture into use of drones in urban air mobility.
We are looking at urban air mobility, or what we call advanced air mobility. Mostly fully electric, eVTOL, electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, or what you basically call flying cars. We see this as a solution to the future of transportation, but also more environmentally sustainable, because this will be electric aircraft that will not be using the current fossil fuel powered machines.
With that report, we come to the end of the show. We believe you found the program inspiring and informative. Let's do it again next week. Always a pleasure having your company. And on behalf of the entire production team, many thanks for watching.
Home Aid Training Center is a Washington-based organization providing high-quality and standard education and training to healthcare workers since 2017. Along with other entities owned by a managing director, Professor Stephen Jenga, other services we provide include smart custom and print services, notary services, cooperative bank diaspora account opening, student placement program, book publishing, company registration, and the Western Union agent. For details, call us on +1 206 566 4676 or +253 893 9768, or visit us at 1305 South 312th Street, Unit 202 Federal Way, Washington 98003, located behind H-Mart.